We are high up, and there's a reason why we're high up, because we're going to be discussing about Kenya's aviation sector. And the reason why we're discussing that is, you remember, not too long ago, the US government came through and said they finally awarded Kenya Category 1 status. In not so many words, what that means is that now airliners or airlines can fly directly between Kenya and the United States. A few clarifications need to be made. Number one, doesn't mean necessarily that they'll be non-stop. Airliners are free to go and refuel, typically somewhere in West Africa, sometimes Accra, sometimes Dakar in Senegal. But it means that you can actually start a flight in Nairobi, go all the way to the US in whatever airport that you want to do. The person we have in front of us is a person who's in charge of Kenya's airspace, Gilbert Kibe. I was going to say, if your plane ever crashes, he's at fault, but not quite. Category 1, there's been excitement and misunderstanding. People are assuming that by now we should have flights going to the US. Why haven't they started yet?
Well, there's many processes and procedures to go through.
But that's what was all completed until now we are awarded this Category 1 thing.
Yes. For us, it's been a 6-year journey to get to where we are today. First of all, let me make it clear that Category 1 status is a rating that is given by the United States Federal Aviation Administration to a country or to the state. In this case, is to Kenya. So let it be clear that it was not Category 1 given to Jomo Kenyatta Airport or Kenya Airports Authority. It was a status granted to this great nation of Kenya. So it has been a long journey, but now that we're there, we're looking forward to the next steps.
So it's possible that Kenya is granted Category 1, but the airports are not ready?
The airport is ready, but it hasn't been inspected. So once we get Category 1, then now an airport now will need to go through security screening by the United States Transportation Security Administration. They come and do a security audit on the airport. So they look at the systems. They need to make sure that when the passengers board the aeroplane and their baggage is on board and the cargo that's being carried in the aeroplane, they have to ensure that they have been properly screened for security, so as to ensure that on their way to the US or landing in the US, there can be no possible threat of unlawful interference. For instance, a terrorist threat or a hijacking or any other undesirable event to happen when you land on US soil. So it's an important step.
But is it the way that this inspection is carried out by the TSA from the US, is it sort of secret shopper type things which people come and do these audits without necessarily revealing themselves, or will they actually come and say, we're the Transport Safety Authority and we're here for 2 weeks looking at these things? Because my impression is if they do the latter, then it's like visitors coming to your home. You can always clean up while they're there, but your normal day-to-day thing is not necessarily the shape that you think it's in.
No, well, they do random inspections at any time. However, when they come for an audit, they give official notice that they're coming, and they say that these are the dates we're coming. In this case, we're expecting them to be here in June. So, yes, they do random inspections and also a scheduled inspection. So, and at the end of it all, what Jomo Kenyatta Airport will receive is the last point of departure clearance. That means that they can be cleared to go to the US after having satisfied the US authorities that the security processes and procedures are in line with international standard.
I guess the point I'm getting to with that last question is, what stops us from being on our best behavior? Because there's lots of things, and I'll concentrate on Jomo Kenyatta by itself, that do give someone pause. You get to this big security screening area that we now have before you get to the airport. Sometimes the officers there are not necessarily paying too much attention. When you get into the airport proper, they're more concerned, and this is purely on the land side.
Yes.
People are more concerned with how you're parking your vehicle and this and that and the other, as opposed to actually looking out for security threats or moving you along in case you're standing in a place for too long waiting for someone to arrive. Those sorts of things, even for an amateur like me, tend to imply that the airport is not 100% security, thinking in security terms.
No airport in the world is 100% secure. With the threats of terrorism, ISIS and Al-Qaeda and all those Al-Shabaabs, they are a threat globally. And it's not possible for everybody to be 100% alert at all times. However, all our security forces and agencies are on high alert all the time. It may not appear.
They don't look like they're on high alert. Sometimes the way they behave, you just think, do something else.
In certain areas,
about the fact that I'm parking in the wrong place.
No, in certain areas, that's the way it looks. But when you get into the airport and you're being screened, yourself, your baggage, the cargo, all that is taken very, very seriously, and it is done. So whereas you may get some lapses on the outside, on the inside, particularly going to the air side, you can
Which is
be
where the
sure
planes are parked.
That's where the planes are parked, where people board. You will have been checked.
A quick one. JKA seems, although I do have many issues with JKA, but it largely seems to be proper. Wilson Airport, which is the other major airport in Nairobi, has so many issues. I don't even know whether we have enough time to discuss them. But the primary ones, the place has been encroached in such a way that the landing path of aircraft now has buildings, it has apartments, it has all sorts of things, and that implies there's a safety issue there.
Yes, yes.
The airport itself seems to be not very well managed. That obviously has implications for getting Category 1, but just normal aviation. Wilson doesn't feel one with as much confidence as, say, JKA does.
That is true. Wilson is a huge challenge, but that challenge is being addressed. Now, the Kenya Airports Authority are the owners of that airport. It is their responsibility to ensure security of people. Now, whereas there has been a challenge, I am aware of plans that they have to enhance the security at that airport. We in Kenya Civil Aviation Authority are the regulatory oversight authority over the Kenya Airports Authority.
Who sorts out, for example, people building on the landing path?
Okay, it is Kenya Civil Aviation Authority. It's us. We're the ones who grant permissions or deny people who want to build on a flight path. On a flight path, you're not allowed to build anything. Unfortunately, there were cases in the past where people had been able to grab land and to construct buildings. But the same Kenya Airports Authority is the one that owns that land. So they're going through a legal process of being able to solve that problem. And in some cases, they're actually going to evict people and even bring down houses and other structures.
All right, so one last one, back to the Category 1 thing. The inspection happens in June. How much longer until we know for sure that flights are going to take off?
For a U.S. airline to start flying to Kenya, we give it a timeline of about 3 to 4 months from now.
A Kenyan airline flying the other side?
A Kenyan airline going to the U.S., for instance, KQ, we expect within about 8 months they'll have gone through the procedures now on the United States side. So they need to apply for a commercial authority to operate and also technical authority to be able to fly into the U.S.
So in realistic terms, it's next year? When they come 3
I'm hoping for Christmas. I'm hoping for Christmas.
One Christmas flight.
Yes,
hoping you'll be on it.
No, we should be optimistic, and KQ is working hard at it. I know that for sure.
We might be on the same flight one day to America. If that first flight will ever, not will ever happen, obviously will, but if it'll happen this year. But there's a lot to be done, as Gilbert Kibe from the Kenya Civil Aviation Authority says, with regard to Category 1 status and direct flights to the United States, and also whether Kenyan airspace is safe. So lots to discuss, and it's something that we'll be keeping a very close eye on.